Hi friends, welcome back. Today we are going to solve Codeforce's problem, brain network. So before we start looking the problem details, some examples and its Java solution, I want to mention that my channel is dedicated to help people who are preparing for Java J2 interviews and coding interviews. You will find a lot of helpful videos that can help you in your coding interview preparation and in your Java interview preparation. You will find more than 250 solved coding problems with different coding questions varieties that were asked by Google, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Yahoo, Microsoft and many others. So if you go through those playlists, that can definitely help you in your good preparation for your coding interviews and Java interviews. So please subscribe to the channel. So let's go through the problem brain network. So further research on zombie thought processes yielded interesting results. As we know from previous problem, the nervous system of a zombie consists of M brains and M brain connectors. So N brains and M brain connectors joining some pairs of brains together. It was observed that the intellectual abilities of a zombie depend mainly on topology of its nervous system. More precisely, we define the distance between two brains U and V, where U and V is between 1 and n inclusive, as the minimum number of brain connectors used when transmitting a thought between these two brains. The brain latency of a zombie is defined to be the maximum distance between any two of its brains. Researchers conjecture that the brain latency is the crucial parameter which determines how smart a given zombie is. Help them test this conjecture by writing a program to compute brain latencies of nervous systems. So they says that the brain latency is defined as maximum distance between any two brains basically, right? So in this problem you may assume that any nervous system given in the input is valid, that it satisfies 1 and 2 from the easy version, and in the input they have given us n and m, which is n brains and m connectors. So for example, in this example you will get like 4 brains are 3 connectors, and the connectors are between 1 and 2, 1 and 3 and 1 and 4. So these are connectors are given to us. So let's just first draw a quick example that's given to us here, this first one, and then we will discuss other examples. So let's just use whiteboarding. So let's just go here. So I'll just draw quickly, stay on this page. Okay. So the edges, so this is basically you must have noticed that this is a graph problem. So let's go 1 2 1 3 and 1 4. There are edges like this. So 1 2, right, 1 2 1 3 and 1 4. So these are the edges that are given to us. So this is a graph basically, and we have to compute the maximum latency, right? So maximum distance between any two pairs. So as you can see, even any two pairs you consider, you will get the latency. Like here, let's say if we consider 4 3 4 2, right? So this latency is 2, right? This is 1 plus 1 is 2. Similarly, if we consider 4 3, right, then 4 1 and 1 3, so this total latency is 2 basically, right? 1 plus 1. So that's why maximum latency we can find in this graph is 2. So that's why you can see 2 as the answer here. So let's take another example that I created here. It's little bigger example than the given example. So let's take a look at this example. So 1 2, so this is the graph 1 2 2 3, then 3 4 3 5 and 3 and 5 6. So these are the edges that are given to us. So this is how the visual of the graph will look like. So the maximum latency or maximum distance between any two pairs is this one, right? So 1 to 2, then you can go from 2 to 3, then 3 to 5, and then from 5 to 6. So total distance you will find is 4. So 4 is the latency here for this graph, right? So or for this brain cells, so 4 is the latency we can find. That is the maximum distance. Any other distance you find here are is less, right? This distance 1 to 2, 2 to 3 and 3 to 4, this is a 3 distance, right? So this is less than 4. So 4 is the maximum distance that we can find out in this example, right? So this is the input that is given to us. N is equal to 6 and M is equal to 5. So M is number of edges that are given to us and N is number of nodes in the graph, right? So first thing is we will go through these edges and we will create a graph. In Java, we can use a array list to create a graph, right? So let's just consider this example. So as you can see, if it is the, like, you will see that for one, let's just assume that this is our array list, right? So the one array list has a connection with 2, right? It is again array list, but it has only one element 2, right? There is a connection from 1 to 2 that's given here, then 2 to 3. So 2 will have a connection like this, 2 to 3, right? So this is the graph we will prepare. This is the using array list. Then 3 to 4 and 3 to 5 we will have. So you can say like 3 to, the array list of the adjacency array list basically is 3 to 4 and 3 to 5 will look like this, right? And then the other factor is 5 to 6. So the 5 and it is has the adjacency of element 6, right? So this is the graph we will prepare using array list. And after we have prepared this graph, we will start iterating this graph from starting node 1, right? So we will do DFS basically, right? Depth of first search, that's what they call it as. So depth first search or depth first traversal. So we will do DFS starting with node 1. So how DFS works is basically visually I'll just show you. So we will go to the connecting node. So 1 to 2 we will go and distance will be 1. We will capture the distance, right? And we will at the same time keep capturing the maximum distance we have seen, right? So in the beginning the maximum distance is 0, right? So here when we reach 1, when we reach 2, then the maximum distance we have seen is 1. So after 2, the adjacency element we will see is 2 to 3, right? So we will go from 2 to 3. Now distance will become 1 plus 1. We have to add 1, right? So we will add 1. It becomes 2. After 3, there are two possibilities, right? As you can see, adjacency element 4 and 5. So let's say when we go to adjacency element 4, then this one is 2 basically, right? So 2 plus 1, this becomes 3. So we will update the max to 3. Here again, this is a DFS, right? So it will come back here. It's a recursive procedure, right? So after here again it will start exploring the other adjacent elements. So from 3 again it will become 3 here when it reaches 5. The maximum is already 3, so we will not update it. After 5 we will again go from here 5 to 6. A connection is there, right? Basically connection means edge is there basically. So from 5 to 6 we will have 3 plus 1, which is 4. So here we will update our maximum to 4 because we have seen the maximum 4 connections. And at the end, so our DFS is done, right? So there is nothing to process after this. So we will just return the 4 as the max, which is the max as our answer basically, right? So that is the basically what they call is as this one, right? Brain latency basically, right? So this is the brain latency, which is the maximum distance, right? Maximum distance between any two nodes or any two brains in this example, right? So these are the brain 1 and brain 6, for example. So maximum distance is in this pair 1 to 6 and distance is 4. So this is what we have to return as our answer. So this is the way we are going to solve this problem, Codeforce's brain network. So let's look at the Java code for this solution. So if once you understand the solution using a graph, it's not very difficult. So first we just created one static array list of array list, right? Because we wanted to create a graph from the given edges. And we have created max1 and node. So these are the two variables we have created and those are static, so we can access it from any method. So we will start in the solve method. These are the inputs that are given to us. N is number of nodes, which is 6. M is number of edges which are given to us here, and these are the edges that are given to us, right? So as I explained you in this graph, so these are the edges. So first we will create like this array A and B of M, right? And we will like first we will go through all these given input edges and we will, A is basically 2, right? This is 2 and B is from, basically, right? So this is 2 and from. So age is from a node to a node, right? So that's what we are capturing in this, and then we are preparing this graph also, right? So these are the adjacency list, right? So there is a connection from AI and we will add BI, and it's a undirected graph, so it is both ways basically, right? So graph will have a connection from BI also to AI, so from both sides it is the connection, right? After that, we will just take the node as 0 and max as 0, and we will create one visited array. It's a boolean array, and our solution is based on DFS, so we will just pass the, we will start with, this is basically in the example as we explained, this is one based array list, right? But when we are creating a Java code, we will use zero based basically, right? Because it's easy to process zero based indexes in the computer program, so we will use it zero based. So we are starting with 0th node, we will pass our visited boolean array, and the distance will be 0 in the beginning, right? When we are starting here at this point, the distance is 0 basically, right? So after that, we will just do this DFS. So we have a source node, we have visited array, and we have distance. So we will first mark that source node as a visited, right? So for example, in this one, we will mark 1 as visited, and we will start processing its adjacent elements like this basically, right? 2 is adjacent element of 1. So we also will make sure that if the distance that we are getting here, if it is if max 1 is smaller than that distance, we will update max 1 and we will update our node, right? So both things we will update here, and after that we will just get the adjacency list from graph. So this one is basically adjacency list, right, from graph. So once we get, what I mean to say is this is the adjacency list, right? For node 1, adjacency list is 2. So this list we will get and we will start processing. We will again start doing DFS with that adjacent element here, right? And first thing is we will verify that it's not already visited, right? Because if it is already visited, then there is no point of doing the DFS, right? It's already visited. So if it's not visited, then we will start doing the DFS on that element, and we will pass again visited array, and we will increment the distance by 1 basically, correct? So distance here is 0, so distance we will increment by 1, right? Here it is 1, then we will again increment by 1, it is 2 here, then it is 3 here, it is 4 here. So this is what we are doing. And ar.get I means basically we are processing all the elements in the adjacency list, because adjacency list can have multiple elements, right? More than one elements. As you can see in this case, there are more than one element, so we will have to process all of them one by one here. So that's what we are doing. So this is how DFS works. So I already explained you in this example how the DFS works. We have already seen that like this one, it will go to 2, then from 2 it will go to 3, 3 it will go to 4. Now there it cannot go anywhere, then again from this 3 there is another path to go, right? Explore, like 5, 3 to 5, then 5 to 6, right? So this is how the DFS works. So we are using DFS here, and we will keep updating our max1 and the node also, right? So max1 we are using to capture the maximum distance that we have seen so far in this graph, right? So that's what we are doing. So let's just go ahead and execute this code. This is the same example that we just saw here, so 4 should be the answer for this one. So let's make sure so we are getting the correct answer 4. So this is a bigger example than the examples that they gave us. We can try with a smaller example like this 5 4. So let's just modify our input here. So we'll just make it 5 4 here, and we'll make sure that it's having the 1 2 2 3 3 4. So 1 2 2 3 3 4. So these pairs are already there, so we have to add one more pair here, right? After 3 4, the pair is 3 5. So let's just add 3 5 here. So this is the one example that they have given us. So we are getting 3, which is the correct answer. As you can see here, we are getting correct answer 3. So we are like what we have done to solve this brain network problem is we created a graph using the array list, right, like this, and then we started doing DFS from node 1 basically, right, and then we will explore all the paths and we will capture the maximum distance that we can see basically starting with this node, right, starting with this node, and that maximum distance is the answer that we have to return. So Java code is not that difficult once you understand the concept. So it's just basically DFS that we are using, which is called as depth first search or depth first traversal. So if you are new to my channel, there is a dedicated playlist called as Code Forces on my channel, which has a lot of solved code forces problem explained with Java code and whiteboarding sessions. There is another big playlist on my channel called as Lead Code and Lean Code Solutions. It has a lot of lean code problems, medium, hard, medium, and complexities. You can check it out. Those problems were previously asked by big tech companies like Google, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Yahoo, Microsoft, and many others. So, and those are selective problems in the sense that they cover important coding questions varieties such as DFS, BFS, matrix problems, optimization problems using priority queues, linked list related problems, coding questions related to strings, as well as binary search related questions, binary search tree questions, dynamic programming questions. So you will find vast varieties on those different problems solved and explained. So that can definitely help you in your Java J2 and coding interview preparation. If you find this video helpful, if you like it, if you like the way it's created with whiteboarding session and examples and Java code, please give it a like. Also subscribe to the channel. Your subscription to the channel is really important for us because that is the way the videos can reach to more people who need help in solving coding problems. They can see these videos and understand and get the idea of how to approach different coding problems using Java and what data structures and APIs and libraries of Java to be applied to solve different varieties of coding problems. The goal of the channel is to help as many people as possible in their coding interviews and in their Java J2 interviews. So as many people can see and get benefited from these videos, it's good for the channel. So if you like this video, please give it a like. If you have any questions related to this video, you can put your questions below the description section. I'm going to give you the link of my GitHub account that you can find out a lot of solved Java coding questions. On those links you can find out how Java APIs and Java libraries are used to solve those problems. Also share this video with your friends and colleagues, and thanks for watching this video.